Residents flee into Turkey as Syrian soldiers take up positions in the northwest. Endgame in Libya, the US says talks are underway with aides close to Colonel Gaddafi about a possible transition of power. Split verdict, a US businessman is found not guilty of helping plan the 2008 Mumbai terror attack, but convicted of another terror charge. Welcome to BBC News, broadcasting to our viewers in the UK and around the world. I'm Kasia Madera, also in this programme. Beyond our sun, 33 years into their epic odyssey, the Voyager space probes prepare to leave the solar system. And at the Queen's side for 60 years, the Duke of Edinburgh celebrates his 90th birthday. Hello and welcome. Syrian soldiers and tanks have taken up positions around the town of Jizr al-Shagur on the border with Turkey. The Syrian government is said to be taking punitive action against the people there, where it says 120 soldiers were killed by armed gangs earlier in the week. Fearing a reprisal attack, families are fleeing across the border into Turkey, from where the BBC's Owen Bennett-Jones reports.
A refugee camp being run by the Turkish authorities. Hundreds of Syrians are living here. Others are just mingling with the general population, many staying with relatives. Some are thinking about crossing, but haven't done so. They're living in makeshift tents right by the border, waiting to see what the Syrian army does. And they say, if it gets bad, they'll leave. Those who've already made the move say they fear a major military assault.
Do they think there'll be an attack on Jizr al-Shagur?
Yes, they said, we think the army may come with tanks and air power to attack us. The Syrian army does appear to be getting ready. As these unverified pictures suggest, with so many people leaving Syria, towns and villages in the northwest have been almost completely abandoned. The Syrian authorities insist people are fleeing from what they call armed gangs, and that the security forces are only in the area because the locals have asked them to come in.
What I do know is that the army is now surrounding the area. They haven't gone in yet. I think possibly they will go in. We have been asked by people in Jizr al-Shagur who don't have relatives across the corner in Turkey to move in so that peace and quiet can be resumed again and life can go back to normal.
The refugees are still coming out. In fact, if anything, the flow is increasing, and that reflects the fact that the Turkish Prime Minister has said that the door will not be closed to the refugees, and many of those coming in say they are extremely relieved to have found sanctuary in Turkey. The UN Security Council has been considering a resolution drafted by Great Britain and France and others to condemn the violence, but Russia's opposed, saying the Syrians should resolve the conflict themselves. In Geneva today, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights condemned the Syrian regime's use of force against its own people as unacceptable.
As High Commissioner would say, strong pressure must be brought to bear on the Syrian authorities to stop the excessive violence and respond to the demands of their people.
But the conflict in Syria could continue for months. It might be a long time before these people get back home. Owen Bennett-Jones, BBC News, on the Turkish-Syrian border.
Well, the United Nations nuclear watchdog has decided to refer Syria to the Security Council over an alleged covert nuclear program. The International Atomic Energy Agency voted to rebuke Syria on claims of an undeclared nuclear reactor near Deir al-Zur in the country's remote northeast. The structure, which Syria has maintained was a non-nuclear military site, was destroyed by Israel in 2007. And we will have much more on Syria a little bit later on in the programme.